Ladies and gentlemen, feast your eyes on the inaugural 2013 Acura ILX Premium. You have to admit, this is a very stylish, good-looking car.
Well, sometimes, Dave, beauty is more than skin deep. This has got a big engine up front, 6-speed manual in the middle, and premium leather throughout.
Tons of great features in this vehicle. Coming up on this episode, we'll tell you more about its ride and handling from our point of view. We'll pop the hood, tell you about the engine and performance, and of course, the all-important MPGs.
And finally, Dave, we'll let you know who we think the ideal candidate would be for this all-new Acura. Thanks so much for watching. Everyman Driver starts now.
In terms of fuel economy, the 2013 Acura ILX is rated at 22 miles per gallon in the city and 31 on the highway. Alex and I have been getting in mixed driving and real-world driving, 24.9, so it seems like a decent option for people looking for a car in this size category. Alex?
Yeah, this engine that we've got in this particular ILX is the 2.4-liter dual overhead cam 4-cylinder. It's got 201 horsepower, 170 foot-pounds of torque. It's a really rev-happy engine. Great little thing.
Definitely rev-happy. Now, 2.4 liter, there are two other options in engines for this car. What are they?
There is. This one is basically the same engine that's in the Civic Type R. They also have a 2-liter that is good for 150 horsepower, and then a 1.5-liter hybrid that is not even worth mentioning.
Okay, all right. Well, let's take this thing for a spin and find out how it works on the road. All right, Alex, let's talk some ride and handling inside the 2013 ILX, because not a lot of people have had a chance to drive this car because it's so new and there's very few out there. So what are your first impressions and your experience so far this week?
Well, I've logged in quite a few miles with this car, and the standout is the engine. This engine's a superstar. Like we said before, this is the same engine that goes in the Civic Type R, and it's 200 horsepower. It feels faster than that. This thing loves to rev, as you've experienced. So Acura or Honda really hit a home run with the engine. Also, this 6-speed gearbox is fantastic. Knob feels really nice. The throw is short, feels solid, but the clutch and the steering on this car is really where the ILX falls short. The steering, while responsive, is far too light, especially for the sporty feel that this car is trying to get off. And the same thing goes for the clutch. This is the lightest clutch that I've ever experienced. And while some people go, well, Alex, why is that a bad thing? It really takes away from road feel. And so it's really a mixed bag when it comes to the driving characteristics of the car. Suspension is excellent, and they're using some new suspension technology in this car that normally is seen on European luxury cars, so the ride is really nice. My ultimate dream would be to see this car, have them do an ILX, basically Type R, and have them stick a turbo on this car, 250, 260 horsepower, firm up the steering, firm up the clutch a little bit, and this would be an absolute just tuner car for the ages.
Let's talk about the way this looks here on the inside, because I think something's missing here on the center stack console, because there's nothing on here except for buttons, and usually we see a lot of digital displays, but the only digital display is this teeny tiny LCD up here, which has no navigation, which I'm surprised with, but you would get that with the tech package, which this car does not have. But a very simple layout here with the buttons. Nothing complicated, very simple, but almost too simplistic for my taste.
Well, and this is where we differ. This is my favorite interior so far, and we've reviewed almost every Acura in the lineup, and that is very simply for that reason. There's not a lot of buttons. It's a simple layout. The screen up there, it gives information like the XM radio, and some other kind of audio features with the little heat and air conditioning screen below it, but I love the simplistic layout. The tech package is about $2,000 more, which would bring this car up to about 32. You would get the navigation and some more other gizmos and gadgets that you don't need. Personally, I love the way that this center stack is set up. Gives you everything you need, nothing you don't.
Let's talk about some of the interior features here, which are standard on the ILX, because a lot of our viewers want to hear that. It has a MP3 auxiliary input jack, push button ignition as you see here. Also dual zone auto climate control with air filtration system. I like how you can have the heated seats on either side for a driver and the passenger. Some of the other features which are included in the premium package: leather trimmed seats, sports seats, Acura premium sound system with 7 speakers, which you really like, and the driver's 8-way power seat, which, again, standard, auto dimming rear view mirror, and the backup camera, as well as fog lights. So a lot of great features that come standard on the ILX, which I think a lot of people will look forward to and be excited to see.
Especially for, the buyer that's going to buy this car, going to tend to be a younger audience. And so having things like just an absolutely kick-ass stock stereo system in this thing, you will have to do nothing to this to just get an awesome stereo system. Things like that, little features. Acura's really thinking about who their market's going to be with this car.
And nothing in terms of fake wood paneling, as you like to call it. A very simplistic black and slight silver accents here on the front, and some nice stitching on the side doors. So it's, again, you're right, it's for maybe a younger mid-20s to upper 30s, possibly a 30-year age group range. Maybe for me, and I'll talk about this when we do our final closing here, maybe not something for someone in my age category, but hey, you have to have something for everybody.
Yeah, and our car reviews would not be complete if I didn't mention the instrument cluster. Ironically, the Acura, which is supposed to be, this whole car kind of has a techie feel to it, has a very simple, less techie instrument cluster than almost all of the Honda models that we've tested. I personally would have thought that it would have been the opposite, but this instrument cluster looks great. 2 big dials, 2 dials on the side, which are actually set in a little bit, gives it a bit of a 3D look. 1 screen in the middle. Really like this layout.
All right, let's take a look at some leg room and headroom back here. And first of all, I'm thinking, yikes, this is tight. My knees are up against the driver's seat, and this is exactly where Alex left his spot as the driver. So as Alex being 6'2", I'm about 5'11", I'm kind of cramped back here. My hair is just touching the roof line, which has a slight slope to it. So I think I'd rather be in the front 2 seats. The leather seats are a nice little touch back here, but overall, it's a little cramped back here if you have someone driving as tall as Alex. The ILX technically can seat 5 people, but I say realistically, you can probably get 4 medium-sized adults back here. There is one little nice feature right in the middle. You have this fold down, which has a couple of cup holders here, a nice little armrest, but I wouldn't even consider getting 5 people in here. As far as safety though, that's where it really shines. For example, the Acura ILX has driver and front passenger dual stage airbags, front and driver passenger side airbags, there's side curtain airbags back here for me, the side impact door beams. So there's a lot of great features in the event that you're in an accident. You know you'll be safe. Now you know how cramped it is back here. Let's see if there's any more room in the trunk with Alex.
A lot of the cars that we test here have actually integrated a button to open the trunk right into the tail lights. Acura has decided to be a little more traditional. There's a button right under here next to the rear view camera. You can also open it with the fob. And it almost opens itself, but not quite. What's that? What's that doing there, Dave? As far as trunk space goes, not bad for a car this size. This is a fairly small 4-door sedan, but trunk space isn't terrible. If you want to, you'll definitely be able to fit a couple sets of golf clubs in here. There is a full-size spare tire and jack toolkit there, so you don't have to run those run flats that end up giving you a horrible ride quality.
So the MSRP here on the 2013 ILX Premium is just under 30 grand. That's with the premium package, but you can get this vehicle as low as 26.8. And to do that, you'd have to drop the premium package. So Alex, how would you equip this vehicle if you were going to buy it?
I'm pleased to say that I would equip it exactly as this came. Essentially, you get the big engine, you get the 6-speed, you get the premium leather, but you don't get the tech package. You ditch that. This also comes with the good wheels, so I think equipping this exactly the way it is, you get a fun, sporty, but luxurious vehicle.
Sporty is a key word, I think, might be the determining factor between whether or not you want to buy this, because I think for someone in my age category, that's the mid-30s to early 40s, I might want to prefer the Honda Accord to this just because of the stage in life that I would be in. You know, this might be a car for the person in their early to mid-20s, maybe even late 20s, because of the statement that it projects.
Yeah, you nailed it on the head. This car really is going to be best suited for the young professional who is looking to make a bit of a statement but doesn't have a ton of money to spend. You do get some more room in the Accord. The Accord is probably the more practical vehicle, but this is certainly the more sporty one and definitely makes a little bolder statement.
It is a fun car, and don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
If I was 10 years younger, I might go for it. With that, thanks so much for watching this episode of Everyman Driver alongside Alex DeFries. I'm Dave Erickson. We'll see you next time.